Hey, what's happening, Roland? Well, today is Friday and it's time for the Friday update. And this week I've been 100% fishing every single day and catching monster bass on golden shiners. And what I'm doing is really kind of cool. I just caught an 8-pounder just a minute ago, and I'm filming today with my good buddy Tyler South. I'm taking these big old shiners, just like, oh gosh, there's one right here. Let me hook them on the line. And I'm whacking them. Just a minute ago, we've been fishing. We'd caught a couple 4 and 5 pounders all day. We hadn't caught a real big one, and we were talking about the Florida trophy catch. That's a bass over 8 pounds, and it just I caught one, and it wasn't quite 8 pounds. It was 7.8 pounds. It wasn't quite a Florida trophy catch, but it was a big bass anyhow. And it made our film really a sensational film, because it was a how-to deal on all little aspects of not only just catching bass, but catching the bait as well, because I was talking all about the throwing the cast net. But basically how I just caught that last one. Let me just show you. I hooked that fish. See how I hooked it kind of in the tail like that? This is 65-pound braid. It's a favorite rod, and I just kind of throw it over there. Oh, not too good a cast. Let it swim. It swims away, and it's gonna go over to this hyacinth. See how it's swimming across? Hopefully it's really active. That's a shiner doing that. Maybe he'll get over to those weeds. I'm hoping he gets over there and gets bit. But anyway, a couple days ago, so actually Sunday, I will tell you what happened Sunday. Sunday we had this big monster cold front of the year. It came blowing through it. It blew 45 miles an hour. In fact, down in Naples and down at Fort Myers, they had several tornadoes. It actually killed people. I mean, this was the worst weather and the worst day of weather we've had in a long, long, long time. And guess what? Dummy me, I come out here and fished. I had a guide party. But guess what? It was the best day I've had in about 2 years. What happened was the wind blew so hard from the north. Well, it started from the south. The wind was blowing 45 miles an hour from the south, and about 9 o'clock, the water was gushing through these cuts. There's a lot of places where there's like a big wide open area, and then there'll be like a little island or constriction. And I found a spot that was a kind of a narrow place, and all that huge amount of wind was blowing through there. It was blowing hyacinths through there, blowing weeds through there, blowing bass through there, and all we could do, we couldn't even cast. I had the spot lock on my trolling motor going wide open. It was just barely holding. And every time we drop in the water, and here's the most incredible thing I did. I've never done this in my life. These guys had never caught a bass over, say, 5 pounds. So right off the bat, they catch a 6-pounder. It's their personal best. Well, finally, this one guy catches a 7-pound, 3-ounce bass. Now this is incredible. That's a big bass, 7 pounds, 3 ounces. Okay, and the guy says, I got a 7-pound, 3-ounce bass. And the other guy, he said, oh, that's really good. That's personal best, a new personal best for the day. Well, about 5 minutes later, the other guy, he hooks a big bass. Guess what? Same scale. It's a major league scale. I got the most accurate scale that you could ever get. This is called the major league scale that they use for all the good TV shows on Major League Fishing. This is the most accurate scale you can find. Really accurate. And the second bass that we weighed, it weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces. And I said to the guys, I said, what a coincidence. Now you both have your personal best at 7 pounds, 3 ounces. They said, man, this is fantastic. I've never seen anything like it. About 5 minutes later, I had a strike, or 10 minutes later. Now these are different fish. I mean, I could see that they hadn't been hooked before, and I could see that they were different fish. And so about 10 minutes later, they said, okay, Roland, you set the hook. You show us how to do it. And I reeled down, I set the hook, and guess what? I had a bass, and you wouldn't believe it. It weighed 7 pounds, 3 ounces. 3 bass in a row. I've never done that in my entire life. They had 3 bass exactly the same size. And we weighed them on this scale, and they were all the personal best. Well, now we're saying, well, now we have the personal best. Everybody's got their personal best. Well, it wasn't my personal best. It was their personal best. So anyway, a little bit later, the guy threw out there and he caught an 8 1/4. So he had even a bigger personal best. But the most incredible thing about that day was that we had 150 shiners, and that we caught some shiners too in the net. We catch them every day in the net. We went through 150 shiners, and they were all bitten. we had a bite on all of them. We had 150 bites. Now we didn't catch 150 fish. When you shiner fish, you probably miss at least half, sometimes 2/3, and probably missed 2/3 of them. So we only caught about 50 bass. Only caught 50 bass. We caught 50 bass, and 10 of them were over 5 pounds. 10 of them, it was just an incredible day. But that was the windiest, roughest day. It was so cold. Well, I got so wet because the rain was just so torrential about 10 o'clock that I told the guys, I said, listen, I either have to go back to my hotel or where I'm staying at Fellsmere Outdoor Resorts. I got a travel trailer, and change clothes because I'm freezing to death. I mean, I'm an old man. I can't handle this cold weather, and I can't handle being wet all day. And the water and temperature was about 50 degrees. So I said, or I can get on the levee over here and walk around and run and jog and things like that, or maybe warm up. And so that's what I did. I got out on the levee and I jogged around for a while and walked and kind of dried my clothes out. Finally quit raining, and I survived the day. We went and caught more fish, and so I didn't have to go back in. But it was the kind of day that, well, I was the only boat out here. There were 100 boats to start with. This launch, I was the only one. I talked to the guy, the game warden guy at the launch ramp. I was the only one still out on the lake. That's how bad it was. It was like the worst day of the year. But so that was Sunday. Well, then Monday, it was a real calm day. They only bid about half as good. However, both the guys, again, got their personal best. Now, see, that's the thing. I get a lot of people, like those guys were from Nebraska, and they hadn't caught but like 5 pound bass. And then the next guys were from Michigan, and they hadn't caught but like 5 or 6 pound bass. So it's not bad when you catch these 6 and 7 and 8 pound bass a day. We usually catch a couple like that almost every day here at Fellsmere. Well, here at Headwaters. And so you can always, I got a 7 pound average every day. I mean, we'll catch a 7 pounder every day. Well, finally we fished the rest of the week and we had a more personal best. But then yesterday, here was happening yesterday. I had 2 old boys from Arkansas, actually from Tennessee, and they had each gone down to Lake Okeechobee and Lake Kissimmee and Lake Toho over the last 10 or 20 years, and they had each caught bass over 10 pounds. And they were seasoned shiner fishermen, as good as you can get. And so we fished real hard with the shiners, and we used another 140 shiners yesterday. Had strikes on practically all of them, and we didn't get a 10 pounder, no, and they didn't get a personal best. But here's the other kicker. I get people to say, well, that was the best fishing trip I've ever had. Because what happened yesterday, we had a whole bunch of 5 and 6 pound bass. The biggest wasn't but a little over 6 pounds. We had 2 more 6 pounders and a couple 5 pounders, and then a bunch of 5. But we had 11 bass or 12 bass over 4 pounds, and 7 of them are over 5. And so those guys said, hey, it was the best fishing day they've ever had as far as catching numbers of just decent bass. And so that's kind of what we're doing right now. I'm fishing. This is the height of the shiner season here at Headwaters Lake. I'm catching my own bait. I throw my own nets. I don't charge for the shiners. Today we caught 86 shiners, I think, in 3 casts with the cast net in 20 minutes. So that's the kind of thing we have going. But I'm telling you, folks, if you want to catch a trophy bass, come on down to Florida right now, fish this Headwaters Lake, get yourself a bunch of big golden shiners. You'll catch a trophy. I promise you. Hey, so that's what's happening in my world. Hey, thanks for watching, and hit that likes button. Thanks for subscribing. We'll see you again soon.